Hello everyone, welcome back to the Running Through It podcast YouTube page. I am Justin Horniker, and some more breaking news today as University of Central Michigan has announced that it is getting rid of their track and field program. I mentioned last week in the University of Akron video where they announced they were cutting cross country. Again, due to revenue losses, due to sports seasons being canceled, things like that. But honestly, it is COVID related, but it's not COVID related because these schools have been losing revenue for a good amount of time, especially in schools like Central Michigan and Akron. They have poured a lot of money into football programs to the most extent that just aren't giving you that revenue growth. The problem with, and this is going to happen, I think, for MAC schools in general. I think the MAC is in a lot of trouble. Track and field and cross country, to a larger extent, doesn't cost a lot of money to upkeep. They have 12 and a half scholarships at Central Michigan. Their football team has 25. They pay their coach a lot of money. They don't pay the track and field coach that much money. It's similar to what we talked about in the Akron video with cross country. Track and field, you have more athletes, you have more scholarships, but there are a lot more scholarships that are there that are paying tuition, that are there that have academic scholarships more than anything. So the amount of athletes on a team versus the amount of scholarships, track and field is going to give you a lot in terms of general tuition money to the school that never gets brought into perspective when we talk about sports programs and how much they cost the university. They're also bringing in a lot to the university. Central Michigan Track and Field is a pretty historic program, just like most MAC schools. You could look as far back as like Bowling Green and Dave Waddle. Bowling Green got rid of their track and field program, even though they have a gold medalist alumni who is in a lot of historic photos wearing Bowling Green uniforms and bringing that sort of press to the university. I think we have, again, another MAC school. So we're running into a problem where these MAC schools, because they're mid-majors, have invested a lot of money into the football. It's not even basketball. It's these football programs, these big-ass stadiums that generally aren't making money. When you're talking about the Michigan system with Central Michigan, Michigan and Michigan State are the only programs in that system that operate at a profit. It's a problem with collegiate sports in general. I think one of the longest lasting legacies of this pandemic will be exposing the general inefficiencies in the collegiate system. A lot of MAC schools are dropping programs right now. Lacrosse was just dropped. I forget what school, but this is just the beginning. This is not the end. And it's just the start with Akron cutting their cross-country program, and they're probably not done there. With Central Michigan cutting their track and field program, they can't cut football to stay in the MAC. They need football to stay Division I. However, in a lot of cases, that is the simplest solution to be fiscally responsible again. It's tough because collegiate athletics, the track and field system in general, is so reliant on the NCAA as a developmental ground. There isn't a development system outside of the NCAA at this point. There have been a few runners who have decided to go pro out of high school. It's still extremely rare. A lot of times it hasn't worked out how you would want it to work out. And it's just not a viable option at this point. And it could be. And maybe that's one of the silver linings from COVID and this pandemic, is that it forces us to create a system that is more sustainable, and this goes beyond cross-country track field, more sustainable in terms of all sports, so that we stop operating at a loss. And the big thing is you have these ADs who are chasing after this carrot of big revenue growth because we have these big football stadiums and football revenue. However, a lot of times they're putting themselves in debt, chasing that revenue, and it just doesn't happen. And while track and field, cross-country, Olympic sports, and smaller programs in general aren't going to bring you in revenue from outside of the university. You're getting athletes who are paying the school because they don't have full rides. You're getting that tuition benefit. A lot of times these are very good students. You're just positively benefacting the university in general, and they're being left in the dust because these athletic directors are chasing after this carrot off in the distance of a successful football program leading to growth of the university. There are only, I think it's like 20% of all D1 schools actually turn a profit. Majority of those are going to be Power 5 schools. Any school that isn't in the Power 5, there aren't a lot of Boise States out there. They're just chasing after something that isn't going to happen. And because of that, their entire athletic department suffers. And you have these well-off programs that are very successful, that have sent individuals to the NCAAs in the past few years, especially in Akron's case, they sent an individual NCAA last year, that have Olympians that have attended the university that have been successful in developing track and field athletes, cross-country athletes, runners, and it's doing a major disservice to the Olympic movement in general. USA Track and Field is losing a lot when it loses a program, because that means that there are now 25 to 30 less spots for athletes to go and develop over time. And that's just what we lose if we don't have this sustainable developmental system. Anyway, I could go on for days about how we need to develop something that is more sustainable, that we can hold on to, that we aren't so determined on having the NCAA be our development system, where the athletes a lot of times don't have anything after college sustainable for themselves to continue in the sport. So if we can develop a sustainable developmental system for USA Track and Field, it also maybe extends the length of an athlete's career, because then now they're in the system, they have something to keep them in the sport after college as well. It's tough. It's biting off a lot, that's for sure, especially during the time of COVID where everything's up in the air. I talked yesterday positively about how I think there are going to be a few meets at the end of the year, and then I was smacked down to earth last night. I was like, well, we still don't know. And everything's changing by the week. Kansas City just opened up this week. Cases were going down, and there will most likely be another huge spike because everyone's out and about, and it's nice weather. So you just don't know what to expect. And I could be wrong, and cases could go down, but that is life as we know it right now, and there's just no way of knowing anything. Anyway, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more about me rambling about the sport of track and field and just my knowledge, what's up, Demetra? My kitty cat. My knowledge of the sport and running in general, please subscribe to the video, and we will talk soon. Right, Demetra?